So it has been, I believe, 2 or 3 weeks since I filmed my last video, at least prior to today. And I'm saying that because I don't necessarily remember what I said in my last Matrix video. And to be quite honest with you, I'm too lazy to go and rewatch it. But what I do want to say is this, okay? I do remember that I talked about unplugging yourself from the Matrix, right? And something that I might have failed to mention, not sure if I did or didn't, but something that I might have failed to mention in that video was music. Okay, music. Music is the single most influential, the single most impactful aspect of the external matrix. It is the single most powerful tool that the powers that be utilize to influence your subconscious minds. And the reason why music is so potent is because it taps into your emotions. It taps into your emotions, and your emotions are the language of the subconscious mind. You see, your subconscious mind is comprised of beliefs and agreements, conclusions that you've made about reality that are largely derived from your emotions. Not the events of your life, but your emotional responses to the events of your life. And of course, this is heavily influenced by the programming that you received from your parents during your formative years, so on and so forth. These are topics that I will cover in future episodes of Escaping the Matrix. But I'm saying this to say that you need to be very, very mindful, be very cognizant of the music that you choose to listen to. Something that I've recently implemented in my life is not listening to trap music. Okay, as a young African-American man, I'm only half black, but as a young man who is seen by society as an African-American man, I felt like it was expected of me to listen to trap music. And to be quite honest with you, I grew up listening to music that reflected a lot of the sentiments that trap music today propagates. But what I've learned over time is that it's a dead end. You see, they propagate this notion of materialism and promiscuity as a means of substituting your sense of self. And I'm here to tell you right now that it's a facade, it's illusory. And the reason why they're doing it, well, there's one of two reasons. Number one is because they genuinely believe it because of the programming that they've received during their lives. Or two, they're selling their souls for money. Okay, and when I say they sell their souls, I'm not talking about any rituals or blood sacrifices or anything like that. I'm talking about them compromising on their integrity, compromising on their morals for the sake of money, which to me is never a worthwhile trade-off. Now, I am going to talk about semen retention, don't worry, okay, this isn't clickbait or anything, but I really wanted to put that out there because I personally believe that, to my point earlier, music is the single most influential and impactful tool that the elites, the powers that be, utilize to program our subconscious minds. And a very close second is sex. Sex. Why is that? Why is sex such a potent tool that they can use to program us at any time? The reason why sex is so powerful is because we all have the urges. We all have sexual urges. You are here because of sexual urges. If your parents didn't have sexual urges, you would not exist, nor would you be watching this video. Okay, you clicked on a video about semen retention because you have sexual urges that you're probably struggling to overcome. Or maybe you just need somewhat of a deeper impetus for starting your semen retention journey. And I don't know when I'm going to post this video, but I'm assuming it's either going to be at the end of October or the beginning of November. Okay, no nut November. A lot of people joke about that, but I'm here to tell you that it actually works. Semen retention is very powerful, not just because of you retaining your seed, but because you are unplugging yourself from that aspect of the matrix. Like I said, they utilize sexual propaganda. They utilize sex and your biological urges against you. They use it as leverage to sell you things, to sell you ideas. And this is how capitalism operates. They create the illusion of scarcity in order to essentially force your hand into playing their game. But you don't have to play their game. All you need to do is unplug from the matrix and reprogram your mind. And like I said in the previous video, okay, I believe I said that you need to take some time away from social media, and you most certainly need to stop watching the news. This is something that I've maintained since the inception of my channel, and even before then. But you also need to be very cognizant of the music that you listen to. If not, just eliminate music altogether for the time being, at least for maybe 30 days or 90 days or however long you need to let go of the programming that you've received from the music that you've been listening to. And you need to implement semen retention. Now, the reason why I say you need to implement semen retention is because, like I said, they utilize sexual propaganda. They utilize your urges against you. If you were to go on social media right now, which if you watched my last video and if you followed my advice, you shouldn't have social media anymore. But if you were to hypothetically get on social media right now, or even better yet, YouTube, okay, go on your YouTube recommended page, open up another tab as you listen to this, and go on your YouTube home recommended page. And I want you to scroll down 10 times, 10 scrolls, 10 refreshes. And I can guarantee you, I'd be willing to bet money that you are going to see something that if your libido is high enough, you could turn into an opportunity to relapse on nofap and or semen retention. What I mean by that is you'll see scantily clad women, you'll see provocative imagery, and this is on the home page of YouTube. Okay, these are things that you will see on a regular basis subconsciously. A lot of you guys struggle with nofap and or semen retention because of this. You don't struggle because you lack discipline. You struggle because you're setting yourself up for failure by playing their game, by injecting yourself in the matrix. You are subconsciously seeing these images, you are subconsciously watching these videos, and that creates a snowball effect. You begin to generate momentum, inertia in that direction, and you fall right into their lap. And that's where the pornography industry is born. That's where OnlyFans is born. Things like that. A lot of people wonder why somebody would be willing to pay $30 a month to look at a woman's toes. You have to understand that this isn't an overnight transition. This occurs throughout the course of a lifetime. This is years in the making. This is programming from your formative years. You receive this programming from your formative years in these rap videos, in all of the imagery that you see on social media. Okay, the scantily clad women, like I said, the women who post these bikini pictures. Now, I'm not saying that we need to conflate women appreciating their bodies with sexual propaganda. But you have to understand that until you undo that programming in your mind, you are subconsciously going to objectify women. Now, how do you go about undoing that programming? Semen retention. You do semen retention. I'm not saying that you need to do this for a lifetime. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't recommend it, because if everybody did semen retention, we would go extinct. But what you need to understand is that there are seasons of your life where you need to prioritize discipline. You need to prioritize your purpose over pleasure. And most importantly, you need to prioritize peace of mind. You need to prioritize peace of mind and mental and personal freedom. You see, the vast majority of my audience is from America. And even for those of you who aren't from America, most of you are probably from what you would consider to be free countries. Hence, why you have access to the internet and you can watch my videos. You have at least some degree of freedom, or at least you think you do, because a lot of you are actually enslaved up here. They're controlling your mind not only through those other forms of media, but through pornography, OnlyFans. And to my point in the last Matrix video, or the Matrix video before that, not only are they programming you, they are programming other people to program you as well. Hence, the women who post these pictures half naked on the internet. They're posting these pictures because they're programmed. Either they're programmed or they have a sense of integrity, but they're willing to compromise on it for money and or attention, clout. Okay, you have to understand that until you pull back, until you withdraw from that system, the system will continue to feed you the same thing because it's going to assume that that's what you want. I want you to envision capitalism as a big algorithm. Okay, it's an algorithm. Let's compare it to YouTube, for example. If nobody watches this video on YouTube, then the video will no longer get promoted because the YouTube algorithm will assume that nobody wants to watch it. The YouTube algorithm will simply assume that it is a bad video. It could be the best video on the platform, but because nobody's watching it, YouTube's not going to promote it. And in the same way, if you simply stop consuming that type of content, if you stop consuming pornography, if you stop buying these OnlyFans subscriptions, if you stop following these Instagram models who post all of these half-naked pictures online or watching their YouTube videos, then the economy will change. The economy will change right along with it, because capitalism is meant to cater to you. The problem is that the powers that be, the people in control of the capitalist society, They are utilizing the power of your subconscious mind against you and your lack of awareness of your subconscious mind against you. But with these videos, I'm here to help you overcome that. I'm here to help you develop that inner sense of awareness such that you become immune to their programming tactics, to their propaganda. But first, you have to unplug yourself. You have to unplug yourself because otherwise you're feeding that mechanism which enables them to continue propagating this type of content, which keeps you where you are. Okay, if you want to be successful in life, and even more importantly, if you want to have peace of mind and happiness in this life, you have to stop placing your happiness on the other side of contingencies. And sex is probably the single biggest contingency that there is, especially for young men. A lot of young men, they center pretty much all of their goals on the contingency, subconsciously, that they are going to acquire a sexual experience, that they are going to have sexual intercourse with a woman that they find attractive. Think about it. You don't actually care about being rich. Okay, most guys don't care about being rich. They want to be rich because they think that they're going to attract women with their wealth. You see, this is something that my dad taught me. He taught me that most men really just want sex, and everything else that they do is predicated on that one underlying desire. But what you have to understand is that sex is something that you will always desire. You will always desire it for as long as you are a fertile man. Which I'm assuming that for the vast majority of you watching this, especially if you've made it this far into the video, you are a fertile man. With that being said, you need to take control of your mind. Because if you don't take control of your mind, how can you expect to control your body? Right? And this is why you end up with unwanted pregnancies, STDs, things like this, because you go out and you invest yourself, you invest your sexual currency, if you will, into these women who are not giving you anything in return. Now, I'm not saying that relationships need to be transactional, but you have to understand that just going out and having sex all day, every day, just being a promiscuous man, is not really anything admirable. It's not. It's only admirable to the men who are in the matrix. It's only admirable to the people who are still plugged in and who are still trapped in their own programming, or rather the external programming that has infiltrated their internal programming. Once you free yourself from the matrix, you see beyond hookup culture. You no longer find it admirable or honorable to be a man who is having casual sex all day, every day. You begin to see sex as a beautiful act which enables you to develop chemistry with your partner and eventually down the road start a family, because that's what sex is meant to do. Sex is meant to enable you to start a family, to spread your DNA, and to continue your legacy as a man and as a spirit. But in order to develop that relationship with sex, and by extension, that relationship with whoever you choose to be with, and your relationship with yourself, and your relationship with women in general, you have to unplug from the matrix. You need to do semen retention. I'm not saying you need to do it for the rest of your life, but give it 90 days. 90 days. Just give it 90 days to reprogram your mind. Okay, and with you being off of social media, you not watching the news, you not being tapped in to these different sources of this drug that they're feeding you, you will find the freedom to reprogram your mind, which I will help you do in my future Escaping the Matrix videos.